Did you see that fake Shenmue trailer? I'm sure a lot of you Shenmue fans saw it, and I wanted to give my comments on that whole situation. Welcome if you're new to this channel. I like to talk about nostalgic games, old games that come back to life, and of course, anything Shenmue related, which is what we're doing today. So if you like that type of stuff, definitely consider subscribing. And today we're talking about Shenmue and that trailer that came out with Shenmue 4 footage. I have a lot to say when it comes to that because it's the situation itself was interesting, and a lot of creators had their own opinions of it, and I didn't want to jump in and comment on it myself. I did have my feelings on the trailer, which looked pretty good, right? But unfortunately, and as much as I wanted to believe that it was real, there were too many clues that didn't sync with me, that I knew that it was just another one of those times where the community gets fooled by someone who's like, hey, let me show you something. It's the next Shenmue game. If you know anything about Shenmue, we got tricked into Shenmue 3 coming out for years and other Shenmue stuff that was just fake forever. So if there's any community that understands what it feels like to be faked out, the Shenmue community knows. So this was another one of those. Now, the latest situation, if you haven't seen the trailer, or at least a brief explanation of the trailer, is that okay, so the Shenmue community, we had Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2 come out 1999, 2000, and 2001 actually, or 2000 and 2001 in North America specifically. I'm going to talk about. The first one was on the Dreamcast, the second one was on the Xbox, but I imported the European PAL version for the Dreamcast that came out in PAL. It came out in Japan too, which was great, and that's how I originally played it. I do have the Xbox version, but I never finished the Xbox version. I stuck to the Dreamcast version and absolutely enjoyed it. But that was many years ago. And then in 2015, a Kickstarter was announced in E3 for the third version. And finally, 4 years later, 2019, November, Shenmue 3 came out. Shenmue 3 was kickstarted, and it had some publishers that backed it, and Sony gave it some marketing funds. A lot of money, a lot of controversies with it as well. But the project, in my opinion, was better than what I thought it could be, but a lot of people expected a ton more because they didn't understand the nuances of the development of that game in itself. And for those that were expecting a certain type of experience, some even a lot of fans didn't get what they wanted because the story had limited progression. The fighting was way different, but that has to do with licensing and that they couldn't really use the Virtual Fighter engine that they used for the original games. And you're kind of starting from scratch with a new and different engine that they weren't really used to using. It's for quick development. And then, of course, the developers themselves had in mind that, you know what, we need to do more of a thank you to the fans than anything else. And it definitely was that. But unfortunately, it wasn't much of a modern game because you can't stick to what used to exist and expect it to work for today's audience to be successful. At least that's my opinion. But 2019 was 6 years ago. Are we getting another Shenmue? What's the status? Now, there's a lot of excitement. There was a lot of excitement between those years. We had the Shenmue anime that came out that I reviewed every single episode and picked out the differences between the actual games and the anime, which you can check out on my channel as well. You should definitely do that. If you want to know what the differences are, and it's pretty awesome. And check out the series as well. And then, you know, between that, you had like different things, like for example, in Games taking over the license and announcing that they're going to release another like enhanced version of Shenmue 3, which I'm actually looking forward to. it keeps the series alive, and more than anything else, the Shenmue community will never give up. Every 4th of every month, there's a Shenmue tweetathon, and you should definitely participate in it. I would, and I will be completely transparent, I want to participate in it, but if you don't know, I do have ADHD. I found that out about like less than a year ago, which made me realize why I do certain things. And one of the things I do is that when I have to do something, or when something's a task, it becomes overwhelming and it becomes very like harder to do. So every 4th, there's a lot of pressure for me to do, like, at least just post a tweet, and it becomes almost overwhelming. And only those with ADHD would understand where I'm coming from. But I'm not going to say that I don't support the community, and I don't want as many people as possible to support the community. I do want to, but, you know, when a person with ADHD says they're going to do something, it's still pretty difficult to do. Don't ask us about being on time to anything as well. I may have total intention of, you know, posting a tweet on the 4th, and then it'll come out on the 5th, and I'm totally late and I'm disappointed. So anyway, I digress. So when this trailer came out, the reason that I was able to immediately recognize that it was fake, and hopefully you guys too can look out for it too, even if you considered it was real. First of all, any Shenmue fan would love for it to be real. We want it to be real. We want to believe the lie because it feels great. But then we're heavily disappointed when we recognize it's a lie. We're not surprised. We're just disappointed. So the reason that I recognized that it was fake, first of all, I thought to myself, like, why would this footage be coming out? Now, the Game Awards are actually streaming or finished streaming as I'm recording this. I did not watch the Game Awards. Very busy, unfortunately, and then wanting to give priority to this. So if anything's announced in the Game Awards, like new Shenmue, actually, I should check my tweets, or at least X, whatever, because, you know, next thing you know, they do announce Shenmue on the Game Awards, and I'm like, whoa, wait a second. Anyway, back to this. So it doesn't look like I missed anything on Shenmue, but here are the signs. So first, okay, so the Game Awards were coming up, and Shenmue trailer was there, and it showed YSNet and whatever, and it seemed to be pretty convincing. But immediately what turned me off was the graphics. The graphics and the style were 6 years old, and a lot of new technology has come out since 2019 that can get the graphics to look a bit better, but they looked stale. That's one of the reasons. Another reason that I didn't buy it, besides like the graphics looking the way they did, is that the environments, everything looked like it was sourced from Shenmue 3. Like they were different environments, but they looked like they were still in Shenmue 3's environments. And that in itself doesn't make any sense unless you're generating it off of AI. Now, Kareem Jovian did a great analysis because he does a lot of AI stuff too. He was able to see the glitches in AI before EastNet said, like, hey, this is not us. Like, do not think that this is coming from us. And they might press charges, actually. But even without looking into those specific details, none of it looked new. A lot of it looked recycled. And the ultimate thing that made me realize that it can't be new is that, I guess it's a feeling, but it just looked old. And it didn't really say much. And then using Corey Marshall's voice. Corey Marshall, who's I haven't spoken to in a while, but he's somebody who is so excited for the Shenmue series, and he would not give any spoilers ever that he's worked on that, especially if he signed the contract not to do it. But his passion for this series, not that you would know, but at the same time, you know that his performance on Shenmue 4, if and when it happens, is going to be next level. There were a couple of lines in Shenmue 3 that I was like, he's really pushing quality. You know, I will have my revenge. Like when he said that line, I got chills in Shenmue 3. There was a lot of just kind of like emptiness when it came to life when watching the trailer. And for the most part, it's like, why would you release a trailer like this? Every trailer that was released for Shenmue 3 was a trailer that built excitement, and it didn't show too much, but it built excitement, did a great job of building excitement. And this trailer, though it looked good, it was very broken up. None of the shots were exciting. They were just kind of more bland, more of the same. And there's almost like, why would you show this trailer? There's no purpose, there's no excitement. In fact, it would probably get bad reviews if it was a legit trailer when compared to, you know, being a leak, because it as a leak makes more people talk about it because we're questioning, is it real, right? So that's what builds the excitement. But if it was a legit trailer with that quality, would you be as excited, or would Shenmue get lambasted for the archaic graphics, the trailer that really didn't have an exciting kind of storyline to it, just kind of more like random shots put together? And it just didn't make any sense. It really didn't. That's why when I saw it, I'm like, I'm gonna wait for the reactions and the comments, because this isn't it. And eventually it wasn't. But the good side about it, which I appreciate and I like, is the fact that we're talking about it now. And the fact that they're looking to potentially press charges is kind of sad, because though necessary, it's kind of sad because it's like they added value to the franchise. They added talk. It's almost like free advertising, right? So whether they pursued charges or not, that's up to them. But I understand why they said, like, we got to look into this, because you don't want just any random person taking the IP and just running with it. So especially putting Snet's name on it, like if it was them who did it, that's could be negative. Anyway, those are my thoughts. What do you think? Comment down below. Or did you actually think it was real? If so, why? And what hints, if you had any, that told you that it's probably not real? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, you can make my day if you subscribe today. This is Magnus, and I'm out. See you guys next time.